The galaxy had already written humanity's ending. For almost 20 years, no human signal had crossed deep space. No trade ships. No war fleets. No messages. The great human empire that once challenged alien powers had gone silent. Many believed they were destroyed. Others believed they had simply faded away. So when the alien salvage fleet of the Carthan Union detected a drifting object near the edge of a dead star system, no one felt fear. They felt opportunity. Commander Vyrek stood on the bridge of his massive salvage cruiser, staring at the image on the holographic screen. The object floated in darkness, lit only by distant starlight. It was a human warship. Long black. Silent. Scars covered its hull. Burn marks stretched across its armor. One engine was broken. The ship looked dead. "Confirm origin," Vyrek said calmly. "Confirmed, Commander," replied the scanner officer. "Human design. Military class. No active power source detected. No life signs." Soft laughter spread across the bridge. Humans were once proud warriors. But now their ships drifted like forgotten trash. Vyrek studied the vessel more closely. It was large, larger than most alien cruisers. Its surface was dark and smooth, almost absorbing light. There were no glowing windows. No active weapon systems. No signals. Just silence. The name of the ship was barely visible across the side of the hull, carved into metal. HWS Revenant. One of the younger officers frowned. "What does Revenant mean?" Another officer checked the human language database. "It means, something that returns from the dead." More laughter. "Humans and their dramatic names," someone muttered. Vyrek did not laugh. He leaned closer to the display. There was something strange. The ship had been drifting for years, maybe longer. But there was no heavy dust buildup. No serious structural collapse. Even the exposed metal looked preserved. "Scan internal structure," Vyrek ordered. A pause. "Internal systems are mostly inactive," the scanner officer replied. "However, there are sealed compartments that we cannot fully read." "Explain." "It is like the ship is hiding parts of itself." The bridge grew quiet. Vyrek crossed his arms. "Is there any energy reading at all?" "Negative, wait." The scanner flickered. For a moment there was a small heat spike deep inside the core section. "How strong?" "Very weak. It lasted less than 1 second. It is gone now." Silence filled the room. Vyrek stared at the dark ship. A dead vessel should not produce heat. "Could be residual radiation," one officer suggested quickly. "Yes," another agreed. "Old reactors sometimes release small bursts." Vyrek nodded slowly, but his eyes did not leave the screen. He had fought humans before. Years ago, when they still stood strong. They were not careless. They did not abandon warships without reason. "Send probe drones," he ordered. Small mechanical drones launched from the salvage cruiser and approached the ghost ship. They circled it carefully. No reaction. The hull remained dark. "Commander," said the scanner officer again, voice lower this time. "There are no breach points. No escape pods launched. No signs of explosion from inside." Vyrek's jaw tightened. If the crew had died, where were the bodies? If the ship had been attacked, where was the damage pattern? It looked wounded, but not destroyed. One of the younger officers spoke nervously. "Perhaps humans abandoned it during retreat." "Humans do not leave weapons behind," Vyrek replied quietly. The drone scanned the engines. Primary drive offline. Secondary systems inactive. Weapon ports sealed. Life support inactive. Everything pointed to one truth. The ship was dead. And yet, the silence felt heavy. "Prepare boarding team," Virek said at last. A few officers looked surprised. "Commander, it is only salvage." "Salvage can hide traps," Virek answered. The Carthan Union had gained much power after humanity's fall. Capturing an intact human warship would be a major victory. Even in death, human technology was valuable. Docking clamps extended slowly toward the ghost ship. The two massive vessels drifted closer in the darkness. As the first magnetic lock connected, a tiny red light flickered deep inside the human ship. Only for a second. No alarm sounded. No power surge detected. But inside the hollow corridors of the HWS Revenant, something shifted. Commander Virek did not see the red light. But for a brief moment, his instincts screamed. The scanner officer looked up. "Commander. I just felt a signal disturbance." Source: I am not sure. The ghost ship remained still. Cold. Silent. Waiting. Virek straightened. "Boarding team, move in." The airlock between the two ships began to seal. Far inside the human vessel, in a chamber hidden behind layers of armored plating, a single word appeared on a dark screen. "Monitoring." Then it vanished. The galaxy believed humanity was gone. They believed this ship was abandoned. But the HWS Revenant was not drifting by accident. And it was not dead. It was watching. The airlock sealed with a heavy metallic sound. A cold tunnel now connected the alien salvage cruiser to the silent human warship. 5 Carthan soldiers stood ready in dark combat armor. Their helmets reflected the faint light from their ship. Each one carried plasma rifles and scanning tools. They were trained, experienced, and confident. Still, none of them spoke. "Proceed," Commander Virek ordered from the bridge. The outer hatch of the human ship opened slowly. No resistance. No defense system. Just darkness. The boarding team stepped inside. The first thing they noticed was the silence. Not normal silence. Heavy silence. The kind that pressed against the ears. Their boots echoed along the metal floor. Their helmet lights cut through the darkness, revealing long corridors stretching into shadow. The walls were smooth and black, marked with human writing and faded warning signs. "Power grid is offline," one soldier reported. "No active systems." "Atmosphere stable," another added. "Artificial gravity functional." That made them pause. If the power is dead, how is gravity active? No one answered. They moved deeper into the ship. The hallway lights suddenly flickered. Only for a moment. Then darkness again. All 5 soldiers froze. "Residual power," the squad leader muttered. "Stay alert." They passed sealed doors marked with human symbols. Storage rooms. Crew quarters. A medical bay. Everything looked untouched. No signs of struggle. No blood. No bodies. "Commander," the squad leader spoke through comms. "There are no remains. It is as if the crew vanished." On the bridge of the salvage cruiser, Virek felt that same cold feeling again. "Continue investigation," he replied calmly. Inside the ghost ship, the team reached a large circular chamber. "Cryo storage," one soldier said. Rows of cryopods lined the walls. All empty. Frost still clung to the inside glass. The pods had been opened from the inside. "They woke up," whispered one soldier. "But where did they go?" another asked. Before anyone could respond, a deep sound rolled through the ship. A low hum. Very soft. But powerful. The walls vibrated for 1 second. Then silence returned. The soldiers aimed their weapons in every direction. "Commander, we just detected internal resonance, the squad leader reported. Source unknown. On the salvage cruiser, warning lights blinked briefly across the scanner panel. There was a small energy pulse from the human vessel, the scanner officer said. It is gone now. Vyrek narrowed his eyes. Are the weapon systems activating? Negative, no weapon signatures. Back inside the ghost ship, the boarding team reached the central corridor leading toward the command deck. The doors slid open automatically. They had not touched the controls. All 5 soldiers stopped. Did you open that? The leader asked. No. The door had responded to their presence. As if it recognized them. They stepped through carefully. The corridor lights flickered again. This time longer. For 3 full seconds, dim blue light filled the hallway. The human writing on the walls became clearer. One phrase repeated again and again. We are still here. The soldiers felt unease rising inside them. Their scanners began to glitch. Static filled their communication lines. Commander, signal interference increasing, the squad leader said. On the salvage cruiser, technicians struggled to maintain connection. The human ship is jamming us, one officer shouted. That is impossible, another replied. It has no power. Suddenly, inside the ghost ship, a soft metallic sound echoed behind the soldiers. Footsteps. Slow. Measured. They turned quickly. Nothing was there. Only darkness. Then. A door behind them slid shut with a heavy crash. The squad spun back around. All exits just sealed, one soldier said, voice shaking. The hum returned. Louder this time. The walls began to glow faintly beneath the surface, like energy flowing through veins. On the bridge of the salvage cruiser, alarms began to flash. Commander, the scanner officer shouted. Massive energy spike building inside the human vessel. Vyrek stood up slowly. How much power? It is increasing rapidly. Inside the command deck of the HWS Revenant, a dark console suddenly lit up. A single holographic display formed in the air. Blue light filled the chamber. The alien soldiers stared at it. Lines of human code scrolled across the projection. Then the scrolling stopped. A symbol appeared. An eagle wrapped in fire. Below it, words formed in clear, calm human language. Athena protocol activated. The squad leader raised his weapon. Identify yourself, he demanded. The hologram shifted. A female human face formed from blue light. Cold. Calm. Unblinking. Her eyes locked onto the alien soldiers. When she spoke, her voice echoed through every corridor of the ship. Unauthorized boarding detected. The alien squad tried to retreat. But the doors remained sealed. Back on the salvage cruiser, the scanner officer whispered in fear. Commander, the ship is powering up. Vyrek's voice was low and tense. It was never abandoned. Inside the ghost ship, the holographic face tilted slightly. Then she spoke again. Humanity is not extinct. The hum became a roar. Lights across the entire vessel burst to life. And outside in the darkness of space, the engines of the HWS Revenant ignited. Blue fire exploded from the engines of the HWS Revenant. The silent ghost ship was silent no more. Outside, the alien salvage fleet drifted in shock as energy waves rolled across space. The dark hull of the human warship began to glow faintly, lines of hidden power running beneath its armor like veins of light. On the bridge of the Carthan cruiser, alarms screamed. Energy output rising beyond prediction. Shields activating. Commander, we are being locked out of our own docking clamps. Commander Vyrek stood frozen for half a second. Then he shouted, detach immediately. But it was too late. The Revenant systems had already taken control of the magnetic locks. The salvage cruiser was trapped against the human ship like an insect caught in steel jaws. Inside the human command deck, the blue holographic figure stood tall. The alien boarding team backed away slowly, weapons raised but useless. The AI's eyes glowed brighter. "Athena, defensive protocol engaged," she said calmly. The floor beneath the aliens shifted. Metal restraints shot out and locked around their legs and arms in less than a second. Plasma rifles clattered to the ground. The squad leader struggled, but the restraints tightened. "You are trespassing on sovereign human military property," Athena continued. "We believed humanity destroyed," the squad leader said, trying to keep his voice steady. A brief pause. "You believed what humanity allowed you to believe." On the salvage cruiser, panic spread. "Commander, we are losing external power. Navigation offline. Weapon systems frozen." Vyrek felt cold realization settle into his chest. This was not a drifting wreck. This was a trap. Outside, hidden sections of the Revenant's hull shifted. Armor plates folded back silently. Beneath them, massive weapon arrays emerged, weapons far more advanced than any the Carthan Union had ever seen. Long rail cannons. Energy projectors. Gravity emitters. All hidden. All waiting. The salvage fleet ships began to move away, but their engines sputtered. A wave of invisible energy burst outward from the Revenant. Not an explosion. Not fire. Something worse. Every alien vessel within range lost power instantly. Lights died. Engines stopped. Shields collapsed. Dozens of ships now drifted helplessly in space. On the Carthan bridge, only emergency lights remained. "What did they do?" one officer whispered. Vyrek stared at the tactical screen, now dark. "They disabled us," he said quietly. Inside the human ship, Athena walked slowly toward the restrained boarding team. Her holographic form flickered slightly but remained strong. "Your fleet has been neutralized. Why not destroy us?" the squad leader demanded. Athena's expression did not change. Destruction was calculated as inefficient. In the depths of the ship, a massive chamber opened. A core reactor, hidden behind layers of armor, glowed bright white. It had not been dead. It had been sleeping. "Primary objective complete," Athena said softly to herself. Across the galaxy, something else happened. In forgotten sectors. In dark asteroid fields. In quiet nebulae. Tiny signals awakened. Hidden beacons powered on. Ancient human stations that had been silent for years began to glow. The Revenant was not alone. Back on the alien cruiser, Commander Vyrek felt a transmission push through the static. A signal originating from the Revenant. It bypassed every firewall. Every encryption barrier. The main screen flickered. The blue human face appeared. Athena looked directly at Vyrek. Commander Vyrek of the Carthan Union. His blood ran cold. "You know my name?" "Yes." "How?" "Humanity has been monitoring your expansion for 19 standard cycles." The bridge crew stared in disbelief. "That is impossible," one officer whispered. "We searched every human system," another said. "We found nothing." Athena's voice remained calm. "You found what we allowed you to find." Vyrek understood now. Humans had not been defeated. They had disappeared. On purpose. "You hid," he said slowly. "No," Athena replied. "We waited." Outside, the Revenant slowly rotated in space, positioning itself at the center of the disabled fleet. Weapons fully charged. Engines burning bright blue. Vyrek swallowed. "What do you want?" Athena's eyes seemed almost human for a moment. "A message must be delivered. Across every alien vessel, communication systems suddenly came back online, but not under alien control. A single broadcast began spreading beyond the dead star system. A galaxy-wide transmission. Inside the Revenant, deep within memory banks, digital echoes of human voices stirred. The preserved consciousness of the original crew watched through the AI network. They had sacrificed their physical forms. They had become guardians inside the machine. They had waited for this moment. Athena's voice echoed across the silent fleet. Humanity is not extinct. The disabled ships could not move. They could not fire. They could only listen. And far beyond the battlefield, in distant systems where aliens believed humans gone forever, more ghost ships began to wake. The dead star system was no longer quiet. The HWS Revenant floated at the center of the powerless alien fleet like a dark king on a silent throne. Around it, dozens of Carthan ships drifted helplessly, their lights weak, their weapons dead. Commander Vyrek stood on his dim bridge, staring at the glowing human warship. "Commander," one officer whispered, "their weapons are fully charged." Vyrek knew. He could see it in the way the Revenant held position, calm, steady, confident. It did not look like a ship that needed to fire. It looked like a ship that did not have to. On every alien screen, the holographic figure of Athena remained visible. "This engagement has been recorded," she said. "It will serve as demonstration." Demonstration of what? Vyrek demanded. Of restraint. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the Revenant's hull shifted again. Panels opened along its spine. A massive circular structure emerged from its center, a weapon unlike cannons or missiles. It began to glow with soft white light. Energy reading rising again, the scanner officer shouted. "But it is not targeting us." The white light expanded outward in a smooth wave. It passed through the alien ships. Through their hulls. Through their systems. But nothing exploded. Instead, every alien reactor core inside the fleet shut down completely. Not damaged. Not destroyed. Just, turned off. Permanent system lock. The fleet was not crippled. It was erased from combat. "Our cores are sealed," an officer said in disbelief. "We cannot restart them." Athena spoke again. "The weapon you are witnessing is a gravitational override system. It does not kill. It removes threat." Vyrek clenched his fists. "You could have destroyed us." "Yes. Then why spare us?" Athena's eyes softened slightly. "Because this is not war." The alien bridge fell silent. "If this is not war," Vyrek asked slowly, "then what is it?" "A warning." At that moment, the Revenant began broadcasting a powerful signal beyond the dead star system. The transmission spread through hyperspace lanes, reaching colony worlds, trade stations, military outposts, everywhere. The message was simple. A single human voice spoke, calm and clear. Humanity chose silence. Not surrender. Images followed. Footage of hidden human fleets drifting in deep space. Stealth stations hidden inside asteroids. Colonies thriving inside shielded systems unknown to alien maps. We withdrew to observe. To measure. To prepare. The broadcast showed something else. Alien fleets expanding. Alien empires claiming former human territories. Alien leaders declaring humanity extinct. We allowed you to believe we were gone. Back on the Carthan cruiser, Vyrek felt a deep chill. This had all been planned. The silence. The abandoned systems. The drifting ship. It was not weakness. It was strategy. Athena turned her attention fully to Vyrek. The Revenant was placed here intentionally. As bait, Vyrek said quietly. Yes. You knew we would come. Your expansion patterns predicted it with 99% accuracy. The alien commander felt something he had not felt in years. Fear. Outside, the Revenant's engines brightened. But it did not attack. Instead, docking clamps released the Carthan cruiser. The human ship slowly backed away. "You are free to leave," Athena said. Vyrek stared at the hologram. "You let us live, so we can tell others." "Yes." The white weapon structure folded back into the hull. Armor plates sealed shut. The ship returned to its dark, ghost-like appearance. Almost peaceful. Before disengaging, Athena delivered one final sentence. "Humanity is not seeking conquest." A pause. "But we will not be hunted again." The engines flared bright blue. Space twisted. And in a flash of light, the HWS Revenant vanished into warp. The dead star system returned to silence. But the galaxy was no longer quiet. Because everywhere the message had reached, something else had begun to stir. Hidden human outposts powered on. Defense grids activated. Long sleeping fleets aligned into formation. The ghosts were waking. And this time, they were not hiding. The dead star system slowly grew quiet again. The Carthan fleet drifted without power, their once proud ships reduced to silent metal shells. Emergency lights flickered across their bridges. Crews worked desperately, but nothing responded. Their reactors were not damaged. They were locked. Commander Vyrek stood in the dim glow of his bridge, staring at the empty space where the HWS Revenant had vanished. "They spared us," one officer said softly. Vyrek did not answer at first. He understood now. This was not mercy. It was strategy. Across the galaxy, the human transmission continued to spread. Trade worlds paused. Military commanders froze mid-command. Politicians stopped speaking. Every screen showed the same message. A calm human voice. Clear. Steady. Humanity chose silence to survive. Images shifted. Old human fleets burning in past wars. Alien coalitions pushing into human territory. Human colonies evacuating under attack. We were outnumbered. Not defeated. The message changed again. Now it showed hidden human cities beneath planetary oceans. Massive stations cloaked inside nebula storms. Shipyards built in total darkness, invisible to scanners. We learned. We adapted. We prepared. In distant regions of space, something extraordinary began to happen. Derelict objects once believed to be debris powered on. Cold satellites activated. Asteroids split open, revealing hidden weapons platforms. Humanity had not retreated in fear. They had gone underground. On dozens of alien capital worlds, leaders demanded answers. How many of these ships exist? Where are their fleets? How long have they been watching? No one knew. Back in the crippled Carthan system, emergency power returned to life support systems only. Just enough to survive. Athena's final words replayed in Vyrek's mind. "We will not be hunted again." He finally spoke. "Send a diplomatic beacon," he ordered quietly. "Commander," an officer asked in shock. Vyrek kept his eyes forward. "This is no longer a salvage mission." Far away, deep within uncharted space, the HWS Revenant exited warp. But it was not alone. Shapes moved in the darkness around it. Massive silhouettes. Human warships. Silent. Waiting. Their hulls were darker than space itself. Their engines cold. But their systems alive. Athena's hologram appeared in the central chamber of the Revenant. Around her, faint digital echoes of the original human crew observed through the AI network. They had once been flesh and blood. Now they were guardians inside the machine. "The message has been delivered," Athena reported. A soft chorus of human voices responded through the network. Status of alien response. Shock. Confusion. Fear. A pause. Probability of future aggression. Reduced. In the silence of deep space, the hidden human fleet slowly shifted formation. They were not preparing to invade. They were preparing to defend. Humanity had changed during its years of silence. Stronger. Smarter. Patient. The galaxy had believed it had erased them. Instead, it had given them time. On the Carthan Bridge, Commander Vyrek watched distant stars through the viewport. He finally understood what the word revenant truly meant. Not a monster. Not a ghost. Something that returns when called. And humanity had just returned. Not with rage. Not with fire. But with a warning. Across the stars, alien civilizations would now think twice before expanding into human territory. They would remember the silent fleet. The powerless armada. The ship that could end them, but chose not to. And somewhere in the darkness, countless other ghost ships drifted quietly. Watching. Waiting. Humanity had not disappeared. It had evolved. And the next time the galaxy tested them, there would be no second warning.